time new songs by Men at Work and the Angels. And Molly talks exclusively to David Bowie. Now, let's get into the spirit got lost of things with the new one.
I think, what I really think about this is that, I just do what I want to do.
Stay tuned for David Bowie exclusively in Humdrum.
And speaking of dancing, as promised from last week, we did do the interview with David Bowie. It's a world exclusive. I'd like to thank the Navy for giving us the location scene. It was in fact a Garden Island in Sydney. So here it is, the David Bowie interview. Well, David, welcome back to Australia and welcome to Countdown. It's been a long time between drinks of coming to Australia. I've seen you a few times since then. What can we expect now from David Bowie? We've waited in anticipation for another album.
Yes. Well, over this coming year, there seems to be all kinds of stuff coming out. It's a loaded year. I've got 2 films coming out. One, The Hunger, with Catherine Deneuve and Susan Sarandon. One called Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, which I made with Tom Conti and Jack Thompson.
Right.
For Oshima, the Japanese director. I've got an album coming out at the end of this month called Let's Dance. And a single from that called Let's Dance. There's a tour coming to these here waters.
Right. Well, let's send it back onto the rock and roll side of it first off, which is with the album.
Yeah.
You must be aware, and I've brought this up in a couple of interviews, of where you are still sort of the leader as far as fashion and music, where a lot of people are having hit records now, have been influenced by you. Is there any pressure on you when you have to come down and make a decision to do a new album?
No, I've always written to please myself. So whatever seems to be happening around me becomes sort of a pleasant background, really. It's
right.
the music that I've written for the new album. I've gone back to a lot of the R&B things that I used to listen to.
Right. Well, I mean, I've heard a couple of the tracks,
yeah.
And I look at it sort of, if you have to put it into categories, which I guess journalists do, of saying that it's, to me, very New York.
Yes, it is.
And with Niall as the producer, obviously had a fair amount of influence on it.
Yeah.
Did New York have an influence on you writing the songs?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted specifically an R&B kind of sound. The best place would either have been Chicago or Detroit or New York. And as most of the musician friends that I work with live in New York, I settled on that.
Now, the title track is called Let's Dance,
yeah.
Which is a very danceable track.
Yeah.
When and where did you write that?
Again, in fact, lyrically, the thing has a lot more to do with heroes than it has to do with the disco's lyric song. There's a desperation behind the lyric, and it's almost a sort of a last dance. It was going to be called Last Dance at one time, but I changed it to Let's Dance. That came out of, can't remember where I was when I wrote that. I think that was in Switzerland, of all places.
Right.
But I buried myself away to write this album. I wrote it very quickly as well. Oh, that's better. Come on. Come all this way, get a suntan. It's a cloudy day.
It is a cloudy day. It's been hot earlier on, though. Getting back to the film clip of Let's Dance, what possessed you then to come to Australia to do your 2 promotional film clips for the Let's Dance album?
It's because of the sun.
Right.
I think more directly, the subject matter of the promo clip, I decided to make some kind of observation, social observation. And I wanted to work with a highly developed technical society, technological society, which for me was, Sydney had a good, and it's new as well, it's much newer than the American feel. Already the American cities seem jaded to a certain extent. But and a very old culture in juxtaposition.
Well, you've done China Girl out here.
Yeah.
And you've also done Let's Dance. So what can we expect, not knowing, I've heard the track, but not knowing what vision we can look forward to?
I think it's a lot more straightforward than anything I've done for a long time. It's not so concerned with juxtaposing surreal images together.
Right.
It's a very direct statement about integration of one culture with another.
Well, the tracks I've heard of, Let's Dance, I think it's fantastic.
Thank you very much.
This is the single cover, which I don't know if you've seen or not.
I have now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I think the China Girl should be the second single.
Thanks. Very good.
Okay, well, that's only part of the interview we did with David. We, in fact, spent over 30 minutes with him, and we hope to have that as a complete special in the very near future, so watch out for it. All right, I'll let the man himself present his own song. Here is Mr. David Bowie.
Hi, this is David Bowie, and here's a video interpretation of a new song that I've written called Let's Dance, one of the many songs that I'll be singing for you on tour later this year.
If you